I don't like the word retirement. I kind of like refirement. Like,
Ooh,
let's
that's
get
good.
fired up for what's next.
Today's episode is brought to you by MMG Wealth Management. Now let's get on to the show. Welcome to Going Rogue 2.0. Our guest today is Deb Stanley, and she is a friend, a fellow author, and a woman of many talents. She's considered all the possibilities. And today we're going to do a deep dive on what makes Deb tick post-retirement. And Deb, you have not slowed down.
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, welcome to the show.
Thank you,
And
Melissa.
yeah, talk a little bit. Tell our listeners what it is that drives your ambition, because you didn't retire and stop to read books and sit at the beach.
That's true.
Instead, you have authored, 9 books now?
9 books.
Yeah.
And yes, and there is some sitting at the beach, definitely. And there's some
Good.
travel and there's some grandbabies. So yes, there is that. There's also just that passion that I had teaching, and just because our students graduate, it doesn't leave. So I was at a retired association meeting yesterday, and we were all saying that passion just stays for adults and kids. And how do we, even in retirement, what is there to do? So, and I talk a little bit in my Pearl book about retirement. I don't like the word retirement. I kind of like refirement. Like,
Ooh,
let's
that's
get
good.
fired up for what's next, because there's this season of new possibilities and opportunities. So I started writing books because I've always loved to write. And then out of that, I did some book coaching and editing. I still do some of that.
Now, what's book coaching?
Book coaching is when you want to write a book. And as an author, sometimes you need that accountability. You need somebody going, you got this, you got this, you got this, that cheerleader in your corner, and a person to check in and say, how's it going? Do you have a schedule? Do we need to make one? Did it change? What do we need to do? So it's really that person to help you with that kind of, well, I'll say spiritual side, but just the encouragement side, because it can be a
Encouragement and
lonely.
accountability, right?
Yes.
Going, oh no, I'm meeting with Deb today. I better have something to show her.
Right. Yeah, we all need that in different areas of our life. So, and it can be a lonely journey to write a book. When you sit down to actually write, it can feel pretty lonely and isolating. And it's nice to have someone in your corner
Absolutely.
who caught your vision and is encouraging you and saying, got this. And then when that book is launched and you feel like you're part of it, that's amazing. So I love that you're writing books too. I think we knew each other before that, but maybe
We did.
that's what
On
first
the way here,
connected
I was
us.
thinking, okay, I know. Well, Wendy
Oh,
Kuhn,
Wendy,
she was
of course,
a guest on the
Wendy,
podcast
yes,
as well.
yes.
So she connected us. I remember meeting you. We were at the Eagles,
Yes.
and met after work and hit it off. And now, years later, I've got your works of art, and here you are today. And yeah, it's been a long time.
It has. But I remember you reaching out to me and saying, let's have coffee and get to know each other.
Yes.
We signed each other's books.
Downstairs.
Yes,
at
downstairs at Outside. So signed each other's books, and that meant a lot to me that you would reach out and do that and promote me, and I could promote you and what you're doing. And
Well, Wendy connecting us,
Yes.
she is a great model for being an awesome connector. And so I actually took a cue from her and decided that's something that I wanted to be able to exhibit and live out in my life. I think, like you said, writing a book, being in business, doing things where you don't have a set 9 to 5. Sometimes it's just good to force yourself into new experiences, uncomfortable experiences, and then they become comfortable.
Mm-hmm. That's very true. Kind of that leap out of our comfort zones, and we keep doing that, don't we? I know you have too. Your business just keeps evolving, and I just did it again with IEP coaching, and we'll kind of see what that looks like. But
yeah, you're a lifelong learner.
Oh, I love learning. I love reading books. I love writing books, but I love learning, just like you.
Have you been feeling overwhelmed, stressed, or burdened by your finances? You don't have to carry the burden all on your own shoulders. Let the team at MMG Wealth Management do the heavy lifting with you. Visit mmg-wealth.com to schedule your complimentary welcome call today. So the first book you wrote was Taking Tea, and it's set up kind of journal format and gives you a way to have a devotional and reflect on that. And then you had another follow-up, Polishing Our Pearl. And now I know you've got 2 books tucked away there.
I do.
Talk to us about those and then tie it into where you're at today with the IEP coaching.
Okay. These are 2 books that I wrote. The first one was I Wish, and it shared perspectives around the IEP table. So it's sharing the perspectives of someone with a disability, parents and caregivers, and school personnel, and how do we lean into each other around the table and create a plan that's we all want the same thing around that table, success for our students. So
for those who aren't familiar with
IEP.
IEP,
Sorry.
that's okay. I didn't know what it was when I was first.
I do that.
I had a situation with a family member who had an IEP. So,
okay.
What is an IEP? Let's start with that.
So an IEP is individualized education plan, and every student with a disability has one in the school. So it's to create a plan for that student, an individual plan. And how do we come around the table? We have at least one IEP meeting every year. So how do we gather around the table and lean in and hear each other, really, really hear each other, and really lean into the parent who's expressing concerns and the school who knows what they can provide and will provide however much they can, but sometimes we're limited by other things.
And what are some of the gaps that exist that necessitates a liaison like you?
I think the biggest gap with an IEP coach is parents not knowing what questions to ask at an IEP, so maybe feeling hesitant to speak up for their child. And I experienced that even as a teacher. And so I had plans for my parents where this year your goal is to ask a question at the IEP table.
I love it.
I know, I love it too. And then when they did, we celebrated big time. Hey, you asked a question, yay. But you are the expert of your child as a parent, and the school knows what we can provide. And the individual obviously has their goals and their plan and their wish for their life. So how do we all meet and provide that for the student and families? So coaching is really knowing what to ask in a meeting and not being afraid to speak up, feeling empowered and being able to speak up at a meeting, because really you're the advocate. You're as your parent, caregiver, you're the student's advocate. So you're their voice. So how do we do that and create a plan that will help the child after graduation, which is a lot of my passion, because parents were coming to me when I was still teaching saying, hey, my kid graduated, yay, but they're sitting in the basement playing video games. They don't know what to do next. They don't know where their supports are. So creating those connections with community, which is my other book, The Power of Community Connectedness, and then connecting them with all of our amazing resources. This area has some really amazing organizations and nonprofits.
As in West Michigan?
As in West Michigan,
okay.
Yes.
What are some of those?
Well, the one that comes to mind right away is Kenzie's Bee Cafe, because that's my office. I love hanging out there and taking tea with people. And it's a place of inclusion and belonging. So a lot of our former students are working there now. So they're
cool.
happily employed, which is amazing. Some of them live at Gracious Grounds. So that's another place of independent living. And then Momentum Center is a place where everyone belongs. So a lot of our adults will hang out at Momentum and have a cup of coffee and be part of community, and that's what we want. So the book showcases a lot of the organizations and nonprofits and what they're doing, so that people don't have to sit at home and wonder, where does my adult go now? I don't want them, I want them to be connected, and they want to be connected, but don't always know how to do that. So anyway, you can tell I'm excited, but the IEP is that starting place, because how do we create goals before they even leave high school that will allow them to do further education, employment, and independent living? It starts there.
Because real life happens outside of school
It does.
after
It
graduation.
does. Yes.
And that's true for everybody.
Yes, absolutely. And
Good.
retirement can feel a little like that too, right? Like, yay, and now I have this space, and what do
Right.
I want to create with it? So,
Well, and so many people will put things off until retirement,
mhm,
but they could be doing it in anticipation of
right,
retirement.
right, right.
So, what is the certification you just received?
It's a sorry, getting froggy. It's a IEP coach. It's called, and I'm under an IEP coach, Catherine Call. She has a whole program that she does. So we can. It's all online because she's based in Florida. So we have modules that we listen to, and then we become certified as a coach. And it's really, again, it's asking questions, finding the pain points of people, and how can we help you with that, whether it's from the school end or from the parent end. It's all about collaboration, which I love, collaboration and connectedness. And so there's none of this like butting heads. And I think for me, being on the school personnel side at one point, I love the aspect of everyone collaborating. It's not a me against you. It's how do we create this as a team? And yeah, so it can be really life changing for families and sometimes for schools to figure some other things
How is
out.
what you just received your certification in different than what you were doing after you wrote the first book on it?
Oh, that's a good question. I think what's different is, first of all, I have a coach. I've tried to do a lot of this on my own, and it's really hard, as you know. Like, we need that connection. We need to be able to ask for help. Same with you for going rogue. Like, I need financial help. I'm going to call Melissa. But so often we try to do things on our own
Why do we
and
do
make it
that?
harder. I don't know. We think we can figure it out, and maybe, but maybe not. So the difference is I have a coach now, and she's spent 30 years developing what she does. She's a sister of a brother with Down syndrome, so that's where it all started. I have a community, so we have an IEP coach community, and we each take a piece, whatever our passion is, that's what we do. So for me, it would be transition from high school to, whatever life beyond, and how do we prepare that student. For somebody else, it might be behavioral, it might be a speech impairment, it might be a visual impairment. And if we don't know, which we can't know all of it, right? We don't know all the answers. We have a community where now we can refer so and so to, that's out of my area of expertise, but that's this person's passion. So let me connect you with that person. So it's that community. It's community connectedness.
So you get education, you get community connectedness,
Yeah.
and you can bring that back to your clients.
Yes. Yes. So I'm really excited about it.
All
Yeah.
right. So
Mm-hmm.
what's it look like? Will you be working with people online and through like a Zoom meeting, or do you meet them in person?
That's a good question. I just received my certification, so now I'm like, what makes the most sense? I'll probably try a bunch of things. Yeah, definitely some online because that's kind of where we are in our world, so that it don't have to be just this area.
Okay,
I
that
can
was going to be my
serve.
next. So you
Yes,
can work with people anywhere
yes,
as long as
yes.
they have an internet connection,
Right.
or you happen to be there
Or
on one of
yes,
your
I happen to be
travels.
there. Yes, wouldn't that be fun if I could combine it with our traveling? It might be some speaking. It might be some workshops, and it will definitely be taking tea, that one-on-one, because that's what I love to do. But it's expanded, my area of what I can offer and who I can serve. So I'm excited about that.
So you said speaking or workshops. Let's brainstorm that and hash it out.
Okay,
Let's
Melissa, help me
create it.
brainstorm because, like I said, I'm at the very beginning, and my coach has a lot of ideas. But you know
Yeah.
this area, like let's brainstorm.
Yeah. Well, I always like just even though I'm on the mic and on camera, I'm an introvert. So doing a keynote it gets me so out of my comfort zone and I spend so much time preparing because I want to deliver and meet expectations. So one of the things that I've done is be willing to be a panelist. That's easier for me because I'm just answering the questions as they're coming at me, and then also doing workshops because I'll take clients or the participants, I should say. I'll take them through exercises and use the workbook as the format. So it's different for me in a teaching capacity than it is just trying to motivate people to take action and have hope and inspiration and a lesson to take away through a speech. So I've modified my things a bit. I still will do speeches, but my comfort level is with workshops. So if you were to create a workshop, would it be for the adult student who's just transitioned? Would it be for the parents? Would it be for other teachers working with the IEP?
Mhm.
Who would it be for?
It could be all of that.
Yeah.
The hope is that I would meet with adults before they graduate so that we can make sure we have a good plan in place and a transition for when they graduate. This is what you said you want next for their education, employment, living independently. What does that look like? And it make sure we've addressed it in the IEP plan. But yeah, I'm happy to meet with. I still have dinner with one of my former students,
Oh,
and
that's
he'll reach
amazing.
out and say, "Hey, let's go to Panera." Like, okay. So, and he's one. And then Mackenzie's too. I love that connection even after they graduate. But the IEP coaching would hopefully be a little more proactive where we can create something before. And definitely with families and sure, with school personnel too, if they have some ideas, or I think we have to start getting a little creative because we do have a shortage of teachers. We have to acknowledge that we have a shortage of teachers and staff.
So it really does take
So
a village.
it does take a village, and maybe we need to create something a little bit out of that plan. So, say a child has a messy locker and it's driving the teacher crazy, and there's no one on the team that feels like, oh, that's my area of expertise. Well, who might help that child with their locker, keep it nice and clean and organized? Well, Miss Smith, she's awesome. Let's get her on board. She doesn't necessarily need to be on paper on the IEP plan, but she's going to help Johnny because she loves helping kids get their lockers clean and organized. That would not be my expertise. But so how do we think a little bit outside of just who's on the IEP and maybe some other teachers, maybe some outside people who might be willing to take a part in that child's life and be a mentor or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with Kenzie Bees, with the Momentum Center, there's probably volunteers
Mm-hmm.
so you can get involved
Mm-hmm.
and participate, and you don't have to be in a situation where you're only involved because it's your family member.
Right, right. It's nice to have, and then there's that connection with community again.
Yes.
Let's get them connected with people outside of the IEP who will be there when they graduate, maybe too, to help them with that transition. When I was still in high school, I created a transition class.
You've been doing this that long. Not
Yes,
that you've
well,
been retired or out of high school that long.
I left
That's
teaching 10 years
awesome.
ago, which is amazing to me. But while I was at the high school, I created a transition class, and I would invite people to come in. So we can't necessarily come out to community all the time because that's funding, and why don't we have community come in? So I had a lot of
She's
community
going
come
rogue.
in. I definitely, yes, see, you're my inspiration. But yes, let's have community come in, and I don't know how many cold calls I met, and then they would refer somebody else. So we had employers come in. Wendy came in because she had written a book. So she came in to talk about writing a book, and I had all kinds of people come in, and that way when they left, they had 40 to 50 connections. So when they graduated, I said, if you are stuck, grab one of those cards and reach out to somebody. You've met these people now. They want to help. And you know how when you put a face to a name, it doesn't feel so scary.
Yeah, absolutely.
They met people. They kept putting people in my class who had behavior problems. And I was like, bring it on, bring them in because they're graduating. And I'm going to have community come in, and we're going to talk about how to shake someone's hand and how this person might be a future employer. So
Yeah.
you want to, be respectful and polite. And those kids were golden.
That's
My
awesome.
toughest one was always the first one to shake someone's hand. Yeah. So
To get them comfortable doing that.
yeah, well, and just because it just took care of behavior, that
Interesting.
no, I'm going to show my best self to that person
Yeah.
because that might be an employer or somebody. It's not Mrs. Stanley,
Yeah.
I
Well, we
see
can
every
all take a
day.
lesson in learning,
It's-
and shaking hands.
well, yes. So there's
Sometimes
that
my
too.
hand gets crushed.
Uh-huh.
So that's great. And I love it that you're encouraging them to advocate for themselves and to take action. And that's like with anything in life.
Right.
If there's something we want and we resist it, we kind of talk ourselves out of it for whatever reason. We're not sure that it'll actually work, and having that doubt, I think it's important just to keep trying and to ask for help. And I love it that you encourage them to do so, and that you yourself model that by asking for help and having your coaching community.
I'm still learning, Melissa, but we do.
Never stop, right?
No, never stop. But we all need that connection, and we do. We try to do so much on our own, and I think we just talked recently about 52 connections too in the community with Sarah Barco, and there again is that community of people who are getting to know each other. I don't think I've given anyone a business card. It's getting to know each other beyond business, but also our business, knowing how to refer
Business
someone.
evolves then,
Yes,
right?
exactly, authentically. And so we need that. We need that connection. That's the taking tea. It's all about connection. So I probably should maybe explain about taking tea a little bit because it's a funny.
Yeah, and how it was different for the Belize edition.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So taking tea, our youngest daughter, Rachel, went on a mission trip to Nairobi for 8 months and came back. And she was telling us about her trip and her experience, which was amazing. And she said they do this thing called taking tea several times a day where they have to put work aside and sit with whoever's there at the time and drink a cup of tea
You should have had
and
tea.
chat and connect. Yes. And I thought that is so cool because I think in our country, sometimes we've lost that connection, or we think we are connected through social media, and it's a different kind of connection. But what would it be like to really sit like this and face to face and connect over a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and really get to know somebody? So that's taking tea. And then the Belize edition, I went to Belize 2 years ago, and I'm going again in November. It's an amazing community, and they naturally will do that. They have phones, but they're in control of their phones, and their phones don't control them.
Ooh.
I know. And they're just a very authentic community led by Pastor Ed.
This is a mission trip?
Yes.
Okay.
Through our church. Yes. So First Presbyterian, I'll just throw that out there. I love my church. And our Pastor Troy has been in connection with them for years, since his former pastor position. So it's just a neat community, and they know how to do that. And I sat there the one night and I thought, what is different here? Because they probably deal with a lot of things that we do here, but they don't have the resources we do, like financial resources, but they're happy. They don't even sometimes have food on the table, but they're happy. Why is that? And it's that community. They look out for each other, and they have connection. So I love the taking tea.
And you write about that connection and
yes,
the answers
and
to your
Belize.
question
yes.
in the book. Okay.
Yes.
So you'll have to check that out.
Yes. So we're using that as our devotional when we go back this time. So that'll be fun. Our team is using that. And so taking tea. So taking tea at the IEP, what do you think about that? Is it like cheesy, or is it? You can tell me.
I think
if
it
it's
brings
cheesy.
it ties it all together. So I think that's cool.
Like, how do we connect at an IEP meeting that, I don't know. It just has a negative connotation, and I feel bad. I have friends still who just, their meetings were not good. They didn't feel heard or seen, and no fault of anyone, I don't think. It's just, but how do we create that taking tea at an IEP, a connection that.
They bring in Deb Stanley.
Baby.
And hot water.
Hot water and some tea bags.
Yes, exactly. Maybe that's the thing. You bring your favorite tea and talk about, and just to get the conversation started.
I like that. That would work at a workshop or something too.
Yeah.
Come with your favorite tea bag. And
A different type of icebreaker.
Oh, I like that. Oh, thank you. See?
Oh, sure.
That's a great
That was
idea.
fun.
I really love that. Yeah, your favorite mug maybe and your favorite tea, and let's just chat. And yeah.
Because it takes the stress away from it then.
It does.
Right?
Yes.
We're not worried about what's coming, and we can't anticipate.
Right.
We get to show a little bit of ourselves.
Yeah.
What would be your favorite tea?
Ooh, I don't know. I like Earl Grey, but I also like teas from other places. So I can't even think of the name of her tea now, but I have a friend, Amy Vine, and she has teas. She grows tea, and she hires people with disabilities to work there. So
Amazing.
she sent me some of her tea, and I've sent her tea books. And
Where is she located?
She's in the Detroit area.
So you can grow tea in Michigan?
Yeah, apparently. I can't think where exactly her but it's a Detroit area somewhere. But yes, she has some land.
So
and
herbal tea?
yes,
Okay.
herbal tea. There's all kinds of teas. And then I don't know if you're familiar with Viola Shipman, but he's an author. He's
I've
written
heard.
a ton of books.
Yeah, he was just in
Michigan.
Grand right?
Yes, he
Okay.
was in the park.
Yes.
Yes. Wade Rouse is his name, but he uses Viola Shipman, his grandma's name. But they collaborate. So he'll have teas that go along with some of his books, and then he supports her mission. So it's
Oh my
just endeared me to
gosh.
him
Consider
even
the
more.
possibilities.
It's
That is
endeared
so
me to him
cool.
even more. Yeah, that he would support her.
Okay,
And,
his name keeps coming up, or the Viola Shipman. So I need to read some of those books.
oh my
'Cause
goodness.
you're probably the third or fourth mention
Oh.
of him. And are his place settings in Michigan?
They are in
Okay, so I
Michigan.
love that.
And he has one, the Heirloom Garden, and it's set in Michigan. I'm in Grand Haven. So he talked about Prano pubs, and I can't remember if he talked about the parade, our Grand Haven Jingle Bell Parade. I think he did. So I sent him a picture of Scott and I as, we're Santa, Mrs. Claus, top secret. But I sent him a picture of us in the Jingle Bell Parade, and then he was like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing!"
How
But
cool is
he's
that?
just really fun. Yeah.
Neat. Yeah, my pictures when you and I were texting back and forth, I had a picture of Santa and Mrs. Claus.
Oh, it's
So
such a fun
that
role.
brings back some memories.
It's very fun.
Yeah.
Very fun for us. Yeah.
Well, is that a recurring custom that you do, like participation in Jingle Bell Parade?
It is. We'll be there again this year. And then we've got other offers. We're going to be in Ferrysburg this year, and we'll be in the fire truck. And so that'll be fun. But we do a lot of home visits for people. We do something at the Shoreline Center so that kids with autism can schedule an appointment with Santa, and they don't have to wait in line and have all the sensory things
Wow.
going on. And so that's fun too.
That is so. I obviously working in the world of personal finance, when we hear the word legacy, a lot of times we think about the amount of money that we or somebody is leaving, and I think that there is a case for that as a definition. I see you and Scott, you're living a legacy by how you're participating in the community, how you're participating in the lives of others, and you're leaving them something that will be lasting based on the way it improves their quality of life from a human element, not just that financial piece.
Yeah, I hope so. And I love that you do that too with your financial advisor, but you're very human. And how do we leave those legacies? And yes, through money, but we're both believers. So it's the kingdom legacy too, right? Where are we investing in people and
Leaving the world a better place.
exactly. Yes. So how do we do that? And the dollar's important, of course. People need money to survive and live on, and also leaving our legacies in other ways. So
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so fun. So fun.
So what's next? Building out the coaching program. Okay. So anybody who has ideas for Deb needs her resources.
I am open to ideas. And yes, if you need my resources, please reach out, because I do feel like we try to do a lot on our own, and there's no way to figure everything out with an IEP or with anything. And we need that community, and we need resources. So and I don't know it all. No one knows it all. And my coach will say that. I don't know everything. That's why I have all of you to specialize in different parts of it. And
it's the power of the mastermind.
Yes, absolutely.
2 is better than 1, and
Yes,
three
very true.
three is
even better.
It's even better. That's for sure.
Yes.
Okay, so what's your preferred method of contact for somebody who might want to reach out to help or receive help from you?
I don't know if you'll post my phone number, but absolutely you can call me, text me, and then transitionbridges@gmail.com. So an email is great. I have a website. It's a mess. It's a hot mess right now.
Okay, other opportunities.
Because it's just a little bit of everything I've been doing over the last 10 years, and it needs to be a little more focused on probably the IEP coaching now. Well,
and there's the adage that done is better than perfect.
Yes,
so
it is
you've got the website, and the website name again is
transitionbridges.com.
Okay. So, and then the email is
transitionbridges@gmail.
Okay.
All one word.
All
So
right. Good.
yes, that's probably the best way. But like I said, I'm open to calls or texts. So I can, if you want that number, let me know. I'll give you that number too.
Okay. We can probably pop that into the show notes.
Okay, perfect.
You might get weird spams and things.
Oh, maybe not.
Maybe not. Let's stick to the email.
Just reach out. I'm on Facebook.
Email and
I'm on
website.
LinkedIn. You can
Okay,
always reach
all
out
the
that way
places.
and ask me for my number, and then I know who you are. I just give you my number
Perfect.
out.
Okay, that's
Perfect.
better. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Well, Deb, thank you for being here today.
Thank
It's
you so
been a
much.
pleasure. And is there any last pieces of advice that you have for our listeners besides the reaching out and asking for help?
Connection. If you're feeling kind of, a lot of people are struggling with mental health challenges right now. And I would just encourage people to reach out and take tea with someone, just one person. And I think the isolation and the disconnection a lot of times leads to a lot of anxiety and depression. And there are a lot of people who want to help and would love to have a cup of tea and chat and connect.
Yeah.
So that would be my last parting words of wisdom.
Yeah. Don't let somebody's apparent busyness keep you from asking them
Yes.
for
Yes.
a few minutes of time.
Right. And most people, I think we're afraid to ask sometimes. People think I don't know, maybe we feel like we're imposing. And
So
I
we
don't
have to
think
get over ourselves and
we
just
do.
ask.
I don't think people look at it that way. I love when people ask me. I'm sure you feel the same way.
I do. Yeah.
So perfect.
All right. Well, thanks again.
Thank you,
And
Melissa.
I'll look forward to book number 10.
Oh gosh. Okay. No pressure.
No pressure.
Maybe it's going to be taking tea at the IEP.
And bring your tea and your mug.
I love that. Thank you for the idea. I'm totally using it.
Okay,
Good. Thank
great.
you. Thank you, Melissa.
You're welcome.
The content of this podcast is educational in nature and not intended as any form of or substitute for personalized investment advice. Melissa Myers owns Bayou Financial Planning, LLC, which does business as MMG Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor, providing personalized investment advice under a standard agreement for a fee.